Today on Threads and Thoughts, we're joined by emerging contemporary South African artist Thoka Frans, whose vibrant work captures stories and emotions in every brushstroke. Let's explore his creative journey and inspiration. Hi, and welcome to another episode with Threads and Thoughts. I'm here with the amazing Thoka Frans. Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm fine.
I'm well, thank you. How has moving from Limpopo to Joburg shaped the way you create?
I would say it's the other way around, even though I'm in Joburg, because my work sort of like reflects on Limpopo, the things that I learned in my childhood and, the experiences of South Africans and other Africans.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How would you describe your artistic style in your own words, and how has it evolved over time?
I would say obviously, like for instance, if you paint, they'll call you a painter.
Mm-hmm.
If you do drawings, they'll say, okay, that's an artist that deals with drawing. So with me, it's sort of like, I won't even call it, because also we have another, category, like, installation artist who, installations, so with me, I just combine everything together and also try to push it forward, like sort of like come up with a new way to do stuff. So I don't have a style at the moment, but then I'm into like drawing, sculpture, installation, painting, textiles, and many more.
Oh, I like that. What message or emotion do you hope people feel when they experience your work?
I just hope people find themselves in the work. I think that's the most important part. In terms of emotions, you can't really dictate or control what people must take home after looking at the work. But then one thing for sure is that as I've noticed, like from my other exhibitions, people they find themselves within the work, and which is something that I think, to me, besides the commercial success of my work, is most important.
Okay, that's cool. And how has the city's chaos or beauty influenced your vision?
My vision in terms of the city.
Yeah.
I'll say, okay, in terms of the surrounding, rather, you get to meet like people from different socio-political backgrounds, and each time you do a show, let's say maybe for instance, when I did a show in Cape Town, people still like they were glued to the work, like they loved the work, they appreciated it. But then like when I did the same thing in Joburg, so you get like obvious like different responses. So in terms of like, because remember in Joburg we have all people in a way, and mostly like people who go to art, people who attend art exhibitions, people from other, how can I put it, like workspaces, like scientists, doctors, and all that. And it becomes interesting in terms of like the conversation I have with them, because some of them be like, oh, what I'm looking at here reminds me of this and that, and from that I learn a few things, and I'll say that's what shapes my focus or my vision.
Oh, I like that. Is there a specific piece you've created that feels like a love letter or critique to either back home in Limpopo or Johannesburg?
I won't call it a critique. I would say it was like my response to everything that I went through in my life, as a full-time artist. Because as an artist, when you start this career, you don't know where it's going to lead you. And obviously, like, you start with like a huge, like motivation, to go like, okay, this is what I'm going to do regardless. But along the way, you get to realize that, it's like when you love something too much, you get to a point where you hate it. But you don't hate it because it's bad for you, or you just hate it because it's sort of like not saying anything at the moment, because like you just keep on giving and giving. And in one of my pieces, Kirleka Orata, now on show somewhere at the gallery, there's a text that even the title itself, it's like the title is like written across the artwork and all that. That was sort of like my response to land, and the politics and everything, and also it was a response to how I felt about you know, like my position in society, you know, apart from being an artist. Yeah.
I like that. And if your art was a street or setting, what would it look like? Would it be more Joburg, you know, your roots from back home, or a fusion of both?
I would say it would be like an open landscape without buildings, a few people, like, you know, groups of people moving around, going about their lives, and what? And a river, a mountain, and a tree. Yeah.
If you could create a public art installation anywhere in the city, where would it be and what would it say?
In terms of public art installations, I have ideas. I mean, like, I'm that one artist, like, for instance, right now, just because I can't, like, do a public art installation or a sculpture anyway, it doesn't mean that I can sort of, like, I can't, what's that thing? I can't do, like, drawings or sketches of that. You know, I have sketches of, like, ideas that I want to turn into public installations, and the ideal place to place those will be at the graveyards, like every graveyard in South Africa.
Who are some other Joburg creatives, past or present, you feel are shaping the city's cultural identity?
The cities. I would say my thinking in terms of my practice is not in Joburg. You know, I'm an artist who makes work for, like, the next generations, and I sort of, like, place myself next to, like, the masters, you know, in the entire world. Like, for instance, I look at artists like your John Miro, you know, Salvatore Emblema, and you know, Lucio Fontana, you know, these great artists who came, because I'm all about, like, doing something in a different way, you know, but also, like, using what's at my disposal, you know, like, you know, the history of art, and yeah. So I would say in terms of like, locally, the one artist that I admire, or I admire his work ethic, is William Kendrick. You know, for instance, because like, when I was in school, art school, so I did a research on, you know, the Kendrick in the studio and the Kendrick outside the studio, and I saw that, you know what, because I'm all about work ethic. You know, I'm not interested in the commercial success, and also I'm all about, you know, someone who, for instance, who doesn't give up on easily on something. For instance, I've been practicing full-time as an artist since 2020, and I never stopped since then. Yeah. And I'm not planning on stopping or anything like that.
Yeah, you shouldn't. You're really good.
Yeah.
How would you describe Joburg's fashion energy, and how does it reflect in your own style?
In my own style, I'll say, even though I'm not a fashionista, you know, but I'll say this: I have this thing of, like, admiring people who dress, like, in a unique way, you know, because that, for instance, I think everyone is an artist, but we express it in different ways. For instance, some through fashion, music, poetry, and yeah. So I was saying, seeing someone, like, dressing, you know, dressed up in a nice way, it sort of, like, motivates me. It becomes like a fuel, like, to the already existing motivation for me to go out there, spend hours and hours and days in my studio working on an art piece. Yeah.
Do you have any, like, top designers that you love?
There's one right now in the store. The lady that created the bag using different segments of material.
Okay.
I think that on its own, like, it's something that I've never seen anything like that. And I was drawn to it, even though I'm not into bags and stuff.
Yeah. So do you ever feel pressure to make your art commercially appealing? How do you stay true to your vision?
In terms of the commercial side of my practice, I don't have much interest on that side, because I think if you focus on that side, the other side suffers. So, for instance, I'll make a sale for, like, 70-something grand, you know, on a drawing or painting, you know, and I'll take, like, most of the money and put it back into my material, because I'm all about, you know, exploring and just pushing, sort of like challenging myself every day. Like I'm always working every day in the studio. Yeah.
So that's all from us today on Threads and Thoughts. Thank you so much, Thoka, for coming through. We really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you for tuning into today's episode. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube or Spotify pages and sign up at shop.africanfashioninternational.com and the city for your signature look. Until next time, stay bold, stay intentional, and stay you.